Hey, welcome to another Trigger Point Research Setups. And we're going to talk about something today called Lennar. You know about it, just the home builders. They've been on fire for a while, and then they really took a major beating as interest rates went up through the end of the cycle here in the summertime. And when you take a look at this chart, I wanted to show you something without anything major. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take off all of the indicators right now so that you can see what's going on with this in particular. So let's first take a look at where we are in terms of the overall. Let's take them all off. Here we go. Okay, so now you're just seeing a chart with it's on a daily basis of what Lennar looks like, and what you can clearly see here from any indication, whether it has colors on it or not, is that you've been in a pretty defined downturn, and that started at the peak at about 44 back in June, and you can draw this pretty sharp actually all the way through September. You broke through and started to turn around here in September, and then we got a peak, nice retracement there. But at the same time, we really didn't get past a key level, and you just look at that on a chart. That would be about the 37 and a half level in terms of the overall, the upside potential here. Now, when we do at this, and we look at, for example, we look at our radar, and it shows us a really nice look of where the areas are when we look at where the volume pressure is. Now, what I want you to notice here on a daily basis is that we've seen this choppiness before, and now there's a lot of short interest that's getting the squeeze effect because of the earnings came out. And at the same time, what you're finding is that the move recently has been pretty vertical off of a very nice base. The base you can find down at about 32.26, and that stretches all the way from pretty much August through the beginning of September, when it then spiked up from there. Now, let's take another look at this from a different angle and figure out where it is that we'd want to enter a position. Where are we going to actually look for this to be something that is like, wow, you know what? That has some benefit, some area that I'd like to get involved in this. Now, of course, it'd been nice to get it all the way down at the bounce level at about 32 or so, but at the same time, if you think about it, there's still a lot of overhead resistance. The question is, where is that? Well, on a daily basis, you could simply see that about 37, approximately 37, 37.40. There's a lot of resistance there when you look across, taking some of the averages. But at the same time, let's take a look at this on our altimeter. On a daily basis, we are seeing that really about 37.50. And you can track that back. You can see that goes all the way back to a resistance point over in June, one in August, in May. You know, support becomes resistance, resistance becomes support sometimes. And what we want to do is we want to find out where that level of potential is, where we can break up. So where is that? Well, I want to go, in fact, and look at something different. I want to look at the weekly chart. Now, on a weekly chart, let's kind of look at this and open this up a bit and zoom in. On a weekly chart now, what we're finding here is that really there is a good amount of resistance above the 38 level. Right there. Now, that is, if we go across, we can see that once we get above there, there is an opening, because it's a pretty wide range right there. Now, when we look at the daily, now we look at the weekly, and we're finding that there is some confluence of numbers. And what we're finding is, for example, that when we look backwards, we see about the $37 level is again resistance. And wouldn't you know it, that's right where the stock is playing right now, in the $36 to $37 range. It couldn't get above, even though earnings were pretty good. We didn't get above where it was last week. We have somewhat of an inside week on the bar right here. And what I'd really like to see is that this stock would break above the approximately $38 level. I'd like to see it right about above our key resistance line here, and that would equate to about, let's just see right here, 38.20, I would call it, about 38.50, somewhere around there. If we get above there, we have some nice opportunity for upside. But until there, I really do believe that you're going to see that the resistance is going to be marked with the former support that we saw back in the middle of the year. So really, you have to wait on this, because the downside is pretty significant on this, and you could just retrace right back down to the $31 level pretty easily. Now, there is some good support there. Look all the way left. Let's take a look on a weekly basis, and you can see that all the way left you have this level of the the level of support and resistance, it does in fact go along pretty well with what we have today. Now again, switching back to the daily and moving out a little bit here, you can see that down at the $32 range, there's some pretty good support. So I think that Lennar is setting up really nicely, but what I would do is wait for the true breakout here where there is limited volume that we saw on the radar and on the altimeter, and then I would enter a position. Right now, there's just too much risk and too much noise involved to do anything more. Well, thanks for joining me, and take a look at this because we did put this out on a potential breakout setups alert for everybody. You can find that over at triggerpointresearch.com, and if you want, just sign up for the mailing list and you'll get these on a regular basis when these are put out. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you soon.